I guess I'll start off with one question, and it's a little selfish in that we don't have that many JDs in the room, but you talked a little bit about sort of your experience in law school and your experience in the firm, but I wonder if you can say, I mean, beyond getting one of your first investors and your first client, did you take away anything meaningful from your short time actually practicing law that was applicable to your later career as an entrepreneur?
Sure, absolutely, and I've heard some people that had practiced law for a period of time and then left, that are outwardly, they say, oh, I'm so happy that I left, or I always wanted to leave. And I really wasn't in that camp. I felt like when I graduated, I had 2 degrees, but business skills are really transferable in sort of any industry. In order to really refine your legal skills, you need to actually practice, because most people, when they graduate, and I know there are a lot of great clinical programs. I know NYU's launched the Mitchell Jacobson Center for Law and Business. But realistically, the only way you can actually truly get legal experience is by working at a law firm or in a general counsel's office or what have you. And I spoke with a lot of people and a number of my professors about the decision of whether I should try, one, to go directly into venture capital, which was really one of the things that I was interested in. I thought that would be a great segue into starting my own business, or go into banking or something along those lines. And realistically, even in the business school, a lot of people said getting a legal degree, one, it'll solidify and differentiate you in the marketplace, and also it'll really help to refine a lot of the skills that you learned in law school, because for the most part you're graduate and you know how to do legal research, and you're trained partially to be a litigator, but not necessarily to do corporate work. And so I thought I just invested 3.5, 4 years of my life, and let me finish it and let me develop professional relationships working at a law firm for 3 or 4 years, and then ultimately try to make the move into doing something in business. So on the macro level, that was really my initial strategy, and I think that for me was the right strategy, but there's obviously, I mean, what's good for me is only good for me. We also did use a lot of I practiced for 6 months, of which the first 2 I was filling out SBIC forms. The second 2 we were coming up with the concept for Seamless Web, and the third 2 I was writing the plans and all that for Seamless Web while doing the legal practice. But I was certainly tasked on a number of deals. I got to read a lot of different documents. I had access to hundreds of different business plans from clients, so I read them to think about what are the different business models, how can they work, how can we bootstrap it, what are the different ways of financing the business, and really tried to just see as many companies as I possibly could in a short period of time. And for me, a law firm was a great place to do that, because you have a network where you can read hundreds of different documents, and you can sort of self-educate yourself, which is really the approach that I took. So I thought it was great for me. When I left, I actually liked the firm. I loved the people. I thought it was great. But I felt like this was an opportunity I really wanted to pursue. So that's my take. But I think I'm a really big believer that whatever path you take will ultimately get you to a place that you're comfortable with. Some people graduate from school and they start right into a business, and maybe their first or second business isn't successful, but then their third one is, and they've refined skills, they've developed a network. I'm like, that's a great path. I have a lot of friends where that's happened. I have other friends where they went to work at a law firm or a bank or a consulting firm for 3 or 5 years, and a few that became partners in the partners or managing directors, and then wanted to get involved in the business side. I mean, I think that largely many people that have a sort of entrepreneurial bug will always have it. You'll carry it through. You know who you are, with knowing that is inside of you. I think that the most important thing is that when you're ready to make the jump, that you're really, really excited about doing it, that you're really, really comfortable about doing it. And one of the things that a lot of people, I often talk with a lot of folks that are getting businesses, getting their business started, and people say, getting business started, or that are thinking about, they really would like to start a business, and they say, I just haven't really had that great idea. And I think that's a really interesting issue or question, because I look at the marketplace and I say Citigroup didn't invent banking and JP Morgan didn't invent banking, but they figured out a way of doing what other people were doing, and they Citigroup, it's debatable these days, but they found a way of doing it better. And I think that's, you don't necessarily need to find something that it doesn't exist. You just need to find out a way of differentiating yourself in the marketplace, whether it's customer service is incredibly terrible or what have you. And I've now been exposed to a lot of professionals, lawyers, accountants, or what have you. You'd be amazed at how many people say, "I'll get back with you tomorrow," and then don't. I mean, just following through with it is a huge part in my mind of being a great entrepreneur and getting your business started. And so I don't think that there's really any one path. I think the most important thing is that when you leave your job or when you graduate from school, you are going to do something that you're incredibly passionate about, that you literally hope the alarm clock hits X time so that you can run into the office, or before the alarm actually even goes off, you get up and you run into the office. And I think that when that stops, you may need to look for another opportunity, and that was start of what was happening to me and part of the impetus around me moving on. So